Hello. Hello. Okay, so back again, and it's been some time since last stream. I didn't check, but probably 2 or 3 weeks or something. And even though I haven't been streaming, that doesn't mean I have been idle. I would say perhaps the opposite. As the festive nature of this background image indicates, I actually managed to finish the first draft of the isekai story of what I call book 1. But even though there are events that I have planned for the characters after this first bit, it's I guess it's a complete story, very open end maybe, but it has a start, middle, and end, and as it stands, it can probably just exist fine on its own. I think it's it doesn't really end on a cliffhanger. I did sort of consider whether to actually have some kind of cliffhangerish ending, but in the end, I opted for not doing that, and it's a proper ending. It's it provides closure for, I guess you could say, all the characters, and the events. There are perhaps some unresolved things, such as the world being somewhat changed, but I think if you look at only the main story arc and the characters, it stands well on its own. So that's nice. And that means that I can go to the next phase. So I had a lot of the text for the last part of the story finished, so it was just it was mainly a question of just filling in the missing pieces, and I had done that now, and that means that I have a prose narrative that stretches from the opening to the end. There might have been some minor points here and there that I oversaw, and there's definitely a need for rewrites, restructuring maybe, but spell checking. But it's actually complete. The first draft is complete, and I'm not quite certain if I expected to ever get here. There is can see that there's uncertainty on several levels. One is whether, let's say, the creative energy is able to last long enough to actually manage to finish the story. I have often run into the problem that I start some kind of project and then either due to having to prioritize other things and then never being able to get back to whatever I was working on, or simply growing bored, or maybe having some new project pop up that is easier and more interesting to spend time on. But for whatever reason, I have often gotten distracted before I actually manage to see the end of a project. Not always, but many times. Of course, this time it's the work is not finished, but you could say that it reaches a new phase. The type of activity changes from being purely, let's say, of a not artistic nature, but simply to think up what is going to happen, the characters are going to do and say. There is a certain uncertainty associated with this, since you don't really know necessarily where things are going, and if you know where things are going, it's because you have decided on something, and to decide on something you have to first think of something. So there's this uncertainty while still in this process as to whether it's actually possible to achieve an ending point that feels satisfactory. You don't know before you actually manage to do it. And now I have, so now I don't have to worry about that, which is nice. And yeah, I guess as I have said repeatedly here, it's not Shakespeare level fiction or prose, and it won't be even if it's cleaned up. But still, I must say that I have been entertained by this. I really come to like the characters, and I have enjoyed the journey they have been on to reach the point where they are. So now the work begins for trying to make it to make the adventures enjoyable also by other people. And this is also something I think I've talked about, but basically I plan to put it up on some serial novel site or some novel site, and there are some practical consequences. This one is that the work of actually cleaning up all the text will be split up over a longer period of time. What I will do initially now, after I have the spell checked the text, is to try to decide on points that need to be restructured, sort of the big picture. If there are some major changes that need to be handled, then there is the question of sort of practical things such as character names, place names, and so on. There are some names that I have used that I have found being used other places when I search for them on the internet, such as one of the cities, meaning that I will have to go and do some search replace on those names, find out the cases where I want to change the names, and then actually do that. So that's another part of the work that needs to be done. But it's basically the big picture things that I want to do. And the next step then will be to try to determine how to split it up. I think the usual size for a single chapter, as in something that is posted each time something is posted. For example, if you post once a week, you want to post is a single chapter, and a usual size for a single chapter is apparently around 2,000 words. So this has some practical consequences for the way the text will be written, and it means basically that ideally you would want to try to have each chapter to be a meaningful sort of a unit of text, meaning that well, I still have to look into the details of how I want to do this, but you have a meaningful starting point, you have something happening, and then you have a sort of meaningful ending point, whether this is a cliffhanger or something else, but it means basically that the story has to be structured around 2,000 word units, and that's of course not the case now. The unit now is I guess it's primarily one book that ended up being quite a lot of words, and this one unit of a book will either be longer or shorter when I have done some analysis of the text to find out whether the text should be shortened or lengthened. I'm going to guess that both of those will be the case. There are some long portions, there are some short portions, or rather some portions where the things go too quickly or are sort of summarized by the protagonist rather than actually being played out. And the balance between these two things, especially when you also add the possibility of having some text put on a wiki or something like that, some external website where the very high level of detail for some parts of the text might be placed instead of having it in the main novel or the main chapter text, which means that there will be some rework and restructuring, and then there will be some splitting of text. I will have to think a little bit about how I do this. I want to have something that's a standalone novel also in the end. And that means that what I have now will have to change for serial publishing, but what I have now or rather what I end up with after having published it in bits, will have to be different from how the final novel is structured. Not necessarily, there's no sort of demand or very absolute requirement that this is done, but of course, if you publish a chapter with the expectation that the next chapter will be read in a week and the previous chapter was read 1 week before and the chapter before that 1 week before then again, then you would probably benefit from some level of redundancy that would make reading a standalone novel quite irritating if it included much of that type of repetition. I don't really know what will make sense. Maybe to do it in parallel. Have the text that I have now split up a chunk of text, try to clean that up a little bit, and then split it out into a separate chapter. Then either extend it or shorten it based on the size, and then publish it like that, and just leave the original novel, or rather leave the original text for the novel. And then if there are some interesting comments made in regards to the text as it is published, maybe consider sort of merging those into the text that will end up being a novel if it ever comes to that point. I don't know. I guess that's something I'll find out as I go along. But that's at least where things stand now. It's it means that I can actually start to do the process, the work process of trying to publish this bit by bit, and it will be interesting to see how that goes. I have no idea how this will be received and whether it will be read by anyone at all. I haven't tried to get anyone to read it, so it's just a question of publishing it and see how it goes. And if there's really no meaningful response, I guess I'll just say, well, that was it, and pack it up for publishing as an ebook, and then put it up on Amazon or whatever. So that's also one way to do it. So I will end up doing something probably anyway, but ideally I'll get to do the serial publishing road first. Not only is that something I have been wanting to do, but I guess there's greater possibility of there actually being some kind of community, some sort of communal reading experience that forms around the text. I don't know how realistic this is, but there's at least the possibility of that, and that's probably not something that would be the case if it's published on Amazon as a single novel. So we'll see, I guess. But I did actually manage to finish the first draft, and that's I think that's something to be happy about, and that's why I have chosen this festive background today with the jolly hats. So yes, it's not like it's a major achievement or anything like that. People write novels all the time, but it's the first time I managed to actually do something like this. I didn't really even imagine that that would be something that was realistic to do, and of course, when I start getting people to read it, I might find out that well, it wasn't really something that I was meant to do anyway, but it is what it is. Yes, but I must say that I had fun doing this. I'm sort of amazed at how well it went. How attached I got to the characters. I have been thinking a little bit about the story as it's going to proceed after the point I have reached, and I guess I will do a little bit work on that also here and there. Try to get a little bit further, because there are, of course, events that have an impact on things going forward. So you have, if you know what's going to happen, it might make it simpler to write the text for the cleaned up bits of the novel. So you can include some details that make the later parts of the text make sense. So I'll probably try to do a little bit work on that, and I don't quite know how long. I sort of have envisioned there being a book 2 and a book 3, but I really don't know how that will turn out. I have some specific ideas for book 2, and I have some general ideas for book 3, and the reason why I'm splitting it up, because it's sort of thematically different, but I don't know how long these stories will be. That's something I'll find out as I go along, I guess. So yes, I guess I'm slightly surprised that I managed to get this far, and I do at least want to give the possibility for people to look at this book. I guess it's a very narrow genre, not something that is very widely popular, but for those that enjoy this very specific and narrow type of story, maybe they will find it entertaining. At least I have done so, and we'll see how it ends up. Hopefully the process of rewriting it, republishing it on a serious site and so on will result in a better book, better story than what is case in the first draft. And then we'll see what happens. There's a lot that happens in the book. I'm sort of uncertain whether I'm going to be able to write a book that is able to live up to the expectations I myself have, at least after having gone through the story for the first book. So yes. So that's where it stands. I think I'll end it here. I guess I will do some more of these streams from time to time, but the topic will be somewhat different since I now have finished the story. So it will be about the process of getting it published, perhaps more than my thoughts about where the story is supposed to go. And maybe I'll read a little bit from the story also, but I guess I'll probably postpone that until I have started publishing the chapters, and then I'll probably read those rather than continuing to read what I have now. I think that's perhaps it's the most meaningful way forward. So yes, no, but I think I'll end it there. So thank you for listening, and goodbye. Bye bye.